Jake Paul didn't just lose, he left the ring with a broken jaw and his career in question.
I'm still, after all the fights you've had, in awe of the fact that you do what you do. It's mind-blowing to me.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I mean, it's not that hard to get you, but it was a great experience. Like, I learned a lot in there. I can't really talk.
When this fight was first announced, you had said something to the effect of this would end Jake Paul's career. After what you saw tonight, do you think that Jake should continue to box, or what do you think the future holds?
Yeah, no, I really take my hat off. So, I mean, we have to see, it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, look, that last shot would have not.
Jake Paul is rumored to have announced his retirement from boxing after suffering a brutal sixth-round knockout loss to former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua in Miami. The defeat reportedly left Paul with a double broken jaw that required surgery. At 28, Paul entered the fight hoping to legitimize his boxing career, but Joshua's devastating right hand ended the bout and sparked serious doubts about Paul's future in the sport.
I won 2 rounds for sure, and then he won 2, and then I got dropped. But yeah, I was doing good. I just think my cardio, just the mental pressure of the big guy and sparring the big people is different than the 10-ounce gloves. So I was feeling his power a lot more. But it was a great experience. Like, I learned a lot in there. I can't really.
Are you in pain?
Yeah, but it's not from like talking.
Talk to me about what your jaw feels like, because you got
It's like a baseball in there.
two plates?
4.
Feels like
4 titanium plates.
4 titanium plates. How many do you have?
Just 1.
8 screws. 8 screws.
Wait, all right, I got in my plate in my head, titanium.
Jake Paul has allegedly suggested that he's exhausted from absorbing heavy punishment in the ring and may step away from boxing following his violent knockout loss. During the fight, Paul was dropped multiple times and later revealed to have suffered a double broken jaw that required surgery. The damage sustained against one of boxing's elite heavyweights has intensified speculation surrounding whether Paul will continue his career.
From boxing, I'm getting hit in the fucking face every single day while I could be playing soccer in Saudi. I'm friends with the Saudis / football.
Back in the day?
I was on the A team in 7th grade. I have a really good kick. I can run fast, and I'll knock out everyone that with us.
Yeah.
Please give me $1 billion.
Promoter Eddie Hearn stood by his earlier warning, but spoke with a somber tone after the fight. Addressing his claim that this bout could end Jake Paul's career, Hearn said the result unfortunately supported that view. He explained that injuries like a broken jaw are not only painful, but mentally taxing, especially for a developing fighter. Time away, fear of re-injury, and lost rhythm can permanently change a boxer's path.
Too, because when this fight was first announced, you had said something to the effect of this would end Jake Paul's career. After what you saw tonight, do you think that Jake should continue to box, or what do you think the future holds?
Yeah, no, I really take my hat off. So, I mean, we have to see, it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, look, that last shot would have knocked out a lot of heavyweights. And I know he went down heavy, but, you know, he was conscious on the floor. And I thought his game plan, although obviously very negative early on, which it had to be, was smart at times. And there were times where he held his feet and let his hands go. You know, it was a very one-sided fight. It was always going to be a one-sided fight. But you can't give him anything but credit and respect. There's a lot of negative people out there. There's a lot of people who want to criticise people. They're not doing what Jake Paul's done. He just went in with Anthony Joshua and gave it his best shot. Took a lot of punishment and ended the fight eventually.
UFC commentator and podcaster Joe Rogan delivered a serious warning following Jake Paul's knockout loss to Anthony Joshua, urging him to reflect on the long-term consequences of continuing to box. Rogan stressed that absorbing powerful shots from a seasoned heavyweight carries risks beyond immediate injuries. He described Joshua's knockout punch as equivalent to multiple blows at once and cautioned that repeated punishment can lead to lasting damage.
That guy did great for someone who's been boxing for like less than a decade. He has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember what happened in the time.
He lost a close decision, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight, though. He's a good boxer. He wasn't a YouTuber. People would be way more impressed with him.
Yeah.
The problem is he was like a famous kid, and then no one took him seriously.
Yeah.
But
Oh, and then he started too with like more spectacle-ish fights. People were like, "Oh, this is you." He fought, Nate Robinson, like a basketball player.
but the thing is, he knocked Nate Robinson
knocked him the
dead,
fuck out,
and
yeah.
it's the way he did it that I was trying to tell people. I'm like, no.
Jake Paul has also reportedly claimed he is considering using steroids to silence accusations that he has previously relied on performance-enhancing drugs. According to online speculation, Paul suggested that openly showing a physical transformation would prove his past achievements were natural. Critics call the claim reckless, while supporters see it as defiance against years of suspicion. The statement remains unverified and controversial given boxing's strict anti-doping rules. What happened in round 6 may have permanently changed Jake Paul's future.
That I'm a cokehead. My rebuttal to that was, I'll tell you what, you can test me randomly for the next 5 years. If I can test you randomly for performance enhancing the next 2 years, and I never got a response on that.
This is why Jake Paul is on PEDs. Within this past year, Jake Paul has literally hit a second puberty and aged like 10 years. Furthermore, he has acne and his hairline is receding like crazy. And people like Jake Paul are going to the best skin doctors in the world and probably are taking hair loss products that aren't even approved for the rest of us. Now, I'm not saying that Jake Paul necessarily took a steroid to make him look bigger, but he's definitely taking something that allows him to recover faster. That way he's able to train more.
UFC legend Anderson Silva publicly defended Jake Paul after his loss to Anthony Joshua, emphasizing that Paul deserves respect for stepping into the ring with such a dangerous opponent. Silva noted that facing a former heavyweight champion proves Paul is willing to take real risks rather than protected matchups. Regardless of the outcome, Silva believes critics can no longer say Paul avoided elite competition.
Respect him. I don't say that only because I'm fight here in a company, but it's because people need to respect Jake, I mean, every single fight go inside the ring, everybody needs.
Anthony Joshua shattered Jake Paul's jaw during their heavyweight bout in Miami when a powerful right hand landed in the 6th round, resulting in a knockout. The punch fractured Paul's jaw in 2 places, an injury later confirmed by medical reports and Paul himself. He was taken to the hospital for surgery, where titanium plates were installed. Paul later said the procedure was successful and recovery was underway.
Ever give a monkeys about what anyone says, because they sit at home full of negativity. It's like the people that are negative towards someone like Jake Paul. Look at what he's done with his life. Do you know what I mean? So yes, it took AJ a couple of rounds to get hold of him, and then he knocked him spark out and broke his jaw. It was a frustrating 2-3 rounds maybe, because Jake was moving so much, holding, but did well, I thought. I mean, I was impressed with him. I mean, I was more impressed with his toughness, because I think that last shot would have knocked out most heavyweights. I mean, you've got to respect him, because he did what many people wouldn't do, which was get in the ring with him. And, he didn't, I know he run and hold, but he also let his hands go at times. And he was in the firing line, and, we got 6 good rounds in the end of actual work.
You see it in the end?
Yeah, I actually think it's a positive, because, we could have gone in there and got it all over with 45 seconds. He's done an 8-week camp, and now he's done 6 rounds. He's got something to go back and work on with the team. And onwards.
Jake Paul's 6th round knockout loss to Anthony Joshua ended speculation that the fight was staged or scripted. Promoter Eddie Hearn strongly dismissed those claims, explaining the bout was a fully sanctioned professional contest regulated by boxing authorities. Hearn pointed to Paul's serious jaw injury and subsequent surgery as clear proof that nothing about the fight was fake or manipulated.
Damn, son. Fuck me. How did Jake Paul actually remain conscious after that? And yeah, he got a broken jaw in 2 different places. And when they zoomed in on his mouth inside after the fight, a row of his teeth had just been dislodged into a whole nother fucking section of his mouth. Whatever you think of Jake Paul, surely that now puts an end to the fixed fight narrative. Like, his mouth is in bits. This was not a fixed fight. No matter how much you dislike it, it was what it was. So how did he do? Well, on the one hand, Jake fucking Paul, the YouTube guy who started by fighting Deji, getting in a ring with AJ is just impressive to start off with. He made 6 rounds, and when he was getting hurt, he kept getting up, and he showed heart. You know, it probably would have been easy to stay down and not get your teeth shoved into your fucking back of your head. And a lot of people are saying, look, he lasted longer than Francis Ngannou, so that's something. But why did he last longer than Francis Ngannou? Obviously, I think we all know why. Francis Ngannou came into the ring with the belief he could win. He was trying to win from the first bell. Jake Paul was more trying to survive and hope that like a miracle happens in the fight sometime. And when you've got those completely different states of mind, it delivers completely different results, right? Francis is right there in front of you. He's trying to hurt you. He's committing. He's leaving openings because he's committing. The other guy is halfway across the fucking ring. And when one guy isn't wanting to engage, it's really hard to pin them down and hurt them because they're not basically contributing to the sport. You know, we're supposed to be fighting each other, not, you know, you running away from me and me having to run after you. And we've seen this before in other boxing matches. It just makes it a very difficult night for the guy who's trying to be the aggressor, especially when you've got a ring that big and the guy who you're...
Fans online have drawn comparisons between Jake Paul and Francis Ngannou based on their performances against Anthony Joshua. A viral post suggested Paul lasting 6 rounds compared to Ngannou's 2 shows, greater durability. Supporters argue that surviving longer, even while injured, proves Paul's toughness against elite opposition. The comparisons have fueled debate over how Paul truly stacks up against other crossover fighters.
Why Jake Paul lasted longer than Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou came 2 fights. That's it. It was like Jake was stuck in 2020 the way he stayed 2 meters away from Joshua at all times. Jake was nowhere near Joshua's range. Nowhere near. Francis was very near. Came to box it. He just came in there to survive. That's all it was. He just wanted to see the end belt. Maybe land a lucky overhand right, which he did land a couple. Actually, when the distance was close, due to Jake not running, due to him being tired, boom, the knockout came. So it was. I don't want to hear people say, oh, he did better than Francis, because he didn't. Francis was in boxing range, and Jake might as well be.
Alexander Usyk's manager, Sergey Lapin, praised Anthony Joshua's performance as a positive step in his comeback, calling it a solid fight that could lead to bigger matchups. He acknowledged Jake Paul's heart and resilience in repeatedly getting back up, despite facing a powerful heavyweight. Lapin hinted at future bouts involving Joshua and mentioned potential plans for Usyk, including talks of a fight with Deontay Wilder.
And here with Sergey Lapin. Sergey, Anthony Joshua stopping Jake Paul tonight. He had a message for Tyson Fury, greedy belly. What did you make of that?
Nice fight. You know, before 1 year, not work, not training, and now today this first step. Yes, maybe second step, one more opponent, one more fight, and maybe we see fight Fury and AJ in September, November. I don't know.
What fight? Yeah, what did you think of Jake Paul's performance in there? He kept getting up, showed bravery. What did you make of Jake Paul?
You know, for me, I like this guy good. This guy 5 years training boxing. Have big heart, you know. He stand up 3 times. And stand up and fight, you know. It's not, AJ punch very strong.
Well, what about, obviously Usyk is no longer WBO champion. Could we see AJ and Fabio Wardley now?
It was a good fight. I think it was a good fight. Fabio, good boxer, good puncher. I think it's a nice fight.
Mostly, Tyson Fury, if he fights Joshua next year, what happens?
I think AJ win.
Any update with Usyk Wilder?
We work, teamwork, working maybe June, July.
Where could that be? Here?
I think I don't know. Maybe USA, maybe Saudi. No, it's working.
Former world champion Carl Froch sharply criticized the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight, arguing that celebrity matchups are turning boxing into what he described as a circus. Froch suggested that Joshua fighting a YouTube star harms the sport's credibility and legacy. While not using explicit wording, Froch made it clear he believes such bouts undermine boxing's tradition and competitive integrity.
6 rounds, got Jake Paul out of there, dropped him. I think he got stopped on his feet, counted out, knocked out, whatever, however you want to call it. It wasn't a bad knockout. It wasn't an El Sparko. He wasn't rendered unconscious, but he got done. He got it on the chin. He went over. He didn't beat the count. He was sort of up on his feet. But if I'm honest, the whole fight was terrible, wasn't it? It was just so bad. It was just shit, wasn't it? A proper bad fight for AJ. And let me start with AJ. AJ was following him around the ring a little bit, sort of pouring with a jab, putting the jab on the shoulder of Jake Paul, sort of putting him in the corner, and not really pulling the trigger on the right hand. He didn't seem to be motivated to go in there and just smash Jake Paul into oblivion in the first 1 or 2 rounds, which I think he could have done. But he's been out of the ring 15 months. He's a bit slow on his feet, a bit ring rust maybe, and he was it's hard. When I used to spar novice amateurs, even when I was a world champion pro, if you're not motivated, sometimes you can have a couple of bad rounds and you're sort of looking at your opponent and a jab hits you or right hand hits you. And I think AJ was in a bit of a daze early on. Just walking him around, touching the jab on his shoulder, not really pulling the trigger on the right hand. Didn't look like he got out of first gear. Jake Paul was just on pure survival mode from round 1 right through to round 6. I don't know if he's got a moral victory going 6 rounds. Maybe he has. People might give him credit for going 6 rounds. But he got in there and just survived. He just went in there and ran like a chicken from round 1 right through to round 6 when he got splattered. And it's like, it's just, you can't really justify what he's done, because this is supposed to be a professional sanctioned boxing match, and I think it brings the integrity of the sport down when somebody like AJ is a 2-time world champion, can't get in there and just completely dismiss somebody like Jake Paul, who I've said for ages can't fight. He's not a professional boxer. It's just AJ following him around, touching him to the shoulder. Round 1 came and went. Round 2 was much of the same, bit slow. I think AJ got caught with an overhand right at one stage, but sometimes when...
What's your take? Should Jake Paul walk away from boxing after such a devastating knockout loss to Anthony Joshua, or does he still have unfinished business in the ring? But one surprising reaction from a UFC legend flipped the entire debate upside down.